All right, so this video is important for me to make because your niche, I hope you guys can see me, your niche is going to make your job a lot easier or a lot harder. It's gonna make you or break you, so you gotta pick wisely. Now, if you are enrolled or enrolling in the Deep Mind Programming School, where I train hypnosis practitioners and get you certified and all that, you won't have this problem. But for those of you who are just taking in the free content, which is totally fine, I want to give this video to you anyway because it's that important, okay? So if you want to make a lot of this, you got to do the front end work of preparing well, okay? And a niche is one of the most important things you're going to ever do. So what time is it? Okay. As we speak, by the way, I am waiting in front of the Little Caesars. It is Super Bowl Sunday, but I'm going to be enjoying the Super Bowl from the comfort of my office while I continue to prepare Deep Mind Programming School. Anyway, so the niche, people in hypnosis and hypnotherapy work, they think that they have to do traditional niches like past life regression and manifestation and all this stuff, right? And I'm here to say that you don't have to do that. You can actually go very traditional. You can go to, you can look at sectors, right? Like the tech sector, or lawyers is a popular category. Athletes, things like that. Like you can pick your niche based on the type of person you want to serve, right? Like I do hypnotherapy. This is not me, but as an example, you can say I do hypnotherapy for investment bankers, or I do hypnotherapy for lawyers or something like that, right? But I think one of the first points I would say is, if you're going to pick a niche, the best way to stand out and to hit the ground running and gain momentum very quickly in that niche, sorry, I just had to do that, so that you know what's waiting for you, right? The best niche to start with is a place that you have experience in or a background in. Why is this important? This is important for a number of reasons. The first reason is it's a lot easier to speak the language if you have experience in that niche, right? So a lot of the trust that you're going to be building and the rapport is about how well you can speak the client's language, not your language, the client's language, right? You're providing them transformation. This is not about you. No matter how much money you'll be making, this is about the client, the patient, their experience, and how much of a transformation they can get out of this, right? So you got to be able to pick a niche that has clients that speak a language that you know very well. How do you find this kind of client? Well, look at the work experience you have. What jobs did you used to work? Who did you used to be as a person, right? Did you used to have any sort of addiction? Did you used to work in any sort of particular sector like retail or real estate or tech or whatever it is, just corporate jobs in general, right? Or maybe what type of transformation were you able to provide to yourself? What kind of transformation were you able to make in your life that you might now be compelled to make in others, or that you might feel qualified to make in other people? Myself, for example, had a long history with a lack of discipline, a lack of confidence, right? I always felt like I was unable to perform at a high level, right? Even though I was always smart and very talented. So my niche is high performers and high earners. This is just a blanket label. It's just a label, a summary, but really who I'm targeting is people from high stress positions in the corporate world, or high stress backgrounds, high performing backgrounds, positions and jobs where high performance is a requirement. And so who I end up attracting, you'll think you'll attract one kind of person, but then the market will respond with its own set of people, and that's who you're really attracting. And so you want to double down on that, and you'll get this feedback the more you do your consultations and the more you put out content, right? Which is why that's important. But I thought I was attracting a certain archetype of people. Who I really ended up attracting was people from corporate backgrounds, yes, but also high level athletics, right? a lot of D1 college athletes. I even get some Olympians, right? Entrepreneurs and business owners, because yes, high performance is still there, right? People who are looking to leave the corporate world, right? My lips are really dry, by the way. I'm taking this like acne medication that's drying out my lips. So if you see me touching my lips or like massaging them, it's because of that. But anyway, let me put some lip balm on. But yeah, so who you think you'll attract, by the way, is different from who you actually will attract as clients. So be open. And that is why putting out content is so important, because you need feedback. People will let you know what they resonate with, and you'll start to see patterns in the kind of people who respond to your stuff, right? And I'll give you a bit of a pro tip. The people who you'll end up attracting will probably look like you. For myself, it's men, it's black men or Latino men, because my name is Pablo, but I'm also black. I'm half Congolese, I'm half Dominican. And people from entrepreneurs, because I am an entrepreneur. And a lot of people who fit my visual image but are still in the corporate world, right? So just expect that, right? That is who you're going to attract. So just know that, and then double down on that, right? That would be my pro tip, because that makes it a lot easier. You got to be very selective with a niche. You can't target everyone, right? People value a specialist, right? So pick a niche where that you understand, that you come from, that visually it would make sense that you came from this background and you serve this niche, right? You don't want to be an out of shape person and then say you do hypnotherapy for athletes or for military veterans. It just wouldn't make sense, right? Think about what would be most convincing for someone who sees you on their Instagram feed or their TikTok feed for the first time, right? That's the first one. And again, niching is so important, because it allows you to be very accurate and very targeted. If you're running ads, you know who to target, you know their interests, right? I think we spoke about this, when was it? In another video. I forget off the top of my head, but how to make $10,000 in 30 days in a hypnosis business. That's what it was. Go watch that video. But it's important to be very targeted if you want to build momentum very quickly, right? Because you got to know who you're talking to and who you're serving in this content. And as you gain testimonials, as you build clientele, you will then gain the ability to start picking and choosing clients and stuff like that, and raising your prices, and you can start broadening your niche and so on and so forth. But for the early stages, the first 6 months, 3 to 6 months, depends on how much content you put out and how fast you build your reputation. You want to be, for that first little bit, you want to be very, 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 very focused, okay? Very focused. So that's the first criteria. Start where you have experience. All right. I'm going to go grab my pizza and we'll move on to point number 2. All right. Let's see what we got. Got ourselves a little pepperoni. All right, so like I said before, first thing you want to figure out when you're niching down, you want to figure out what niche you need or you should focus in, is where do you have experience or history. Another reason I almost forgot to say why that's important is because in part of building trust with people, you want to be able to talk about your before and after story. How has hypnosis helped you personally? Or what kind of transformation have you undergone? But where's the proof, right? The proof will be in either pictures you have of your old self versus your new self, or your personal story. And you want that story to be authentic because people can sense it, right? It's the same reason why personal trainers and fitness people, they always show their own before and after so that they can convince their clients that much more easily as to how knowledgeable they are in personal training and fitness. And same thing is with you and hypnosis, right? So if you're getting to hypnosis and hypnotherapy, chances are you've listened to hypnosis audios before, maybe mine, maybe other people's, and it's shown a transformation. It's brought you a personal transformation. Talk about what that transformation has looked like. But anyway, the second way to find a niche, and I'll talk about more in detail some of the best niches. I kind of hinted at them before, but the second thing you want to look for in a niche is the niche big enough? Is it a large enough pool of people, right? You don't want to be like, lawyers in your direct suburb, right? Or your intersection. Like there's only going to be 2 or 3 of them, right? Or you don't want to be targeting, personal trainers who live in your area who make north of $500,000 a year. There's only going to be like 2 or 3 of them, right? Pick a large enough pool. So maybe start with like a career type or an industry. That's a great pool. And ideally you want to niche down even further, but still make sure, ideally try and pick a growing niche, right? So maybe you want to pick people who are interested in manifestation. That's a big pool of people, but perhaps you target people who are interested in manifestation working in, I don't know, corporate careers or something where manifestation is starting to be adopted, right? I don't know if that's the case for the example I just cited, but I'm trying to give you an example of how you think through it, right? So that's that. A large enough pool of people, but it's still growing, okay? So give that some thought. And again, you'll refine this as you go on. You don't have to make it picture perfect and have the whole plan ready right away, right? So that's the second thing. The third thing is, if you want to be making like serious money in this space, it is very important that you pick clients, or you pick a niche that has clients that can pay. Pick a niche that has clients that have money. Point blank, period. There's nothing wrong with it. It doesn't make you greedy. It's you working in a space that is conducive to the lifestyle you want, right? Look at Louis Vuitton. Louis Vuitton's not greedy for marketing their stuff to luxury clients or high-paying clients. They are simply working a brand, right? They're serving clients who fit their brand, period. Same thing with Porsche, same thing with Mercedes, right? It does not mean that they're greedy. There's nothing wrong with you focusing on high-paying clients. There's a reason why they're willing to pay. They want to pay for great service, right? So that's the other thing. You better make sure that you offer them great service. I charge $3,000 for a hypnosis. I offer $3,000 worth of service. I get clients saying you should be charging more. That is how much I deliver and how much I care. And all my sessions are, they're customized. There's audio recordings sent with it. I check in on the client. It's a very personal one-to-one relationship, right? There's a lot of coaching involved, things that aren't written on paper, right? It's an experience. And that will also affect how you dress in your content, how you should come across, how you should position yourself, all these other things, right? That like the brand is about everything working together, right? You're not going to show up in a hoodie and sweatpants if you're marketing yourself towards high-paying, high-ticket luxury, not even luxury, but just high-paying clients, right? You're going to dress the part. But also, how do you find high-paying clients? What niche? This is why I would start with starting with industry and go after industries where they make a lot, like lawyers or doctors or surgeons, right? Maybe you do hypnotherapy for doctors, you do hypnotherapy for surgeons, right? Or hypnotherapy for 6-figure plus entrepreneurs. There's a reason why in my bio I literally put leading hypnotherapist for high performers / high earners, because people who fit the category will feel like I'm the person for them. And people who are outside of that category will probably feel some kind of FOMO and will want to work with me anyway, right? Not all the time. And it also means that I have to, there's a responsibility for me to show up in a certain way, to make sure I'm prepared in my content, to make sure that, and also this was me in my past life, like in my corporate world. I was working high stress, high performing, high paying gigs, right? So I know what goes into this. This isn't like I'm trying to fake it into a high-paying, high-ticket gig. No, I did this thing. I worked with these people. I know how these people think, act, behave, speak, so on and so forth, right? But anyway, if you're going to take away any of those three things in terms of like how to pick a niche, pick the first point. Walk away with the first point, which is, where do you have history and experience, right? And then you can be an outlier and just charge what's going to motivate you to do a good job, period. And we'll talk about pricing in another video. And if you're in deep mind programming school, you already have access to all this stuff, all the cheat codes and the scripts and stuff like that. But apart from that, guys, best niches, go start with industry. Pick a high-paying industry, ideally an industry where you have experience in remotely, right? You don't have to have been a lawyer to target lawyers. Maybe you were just like a paralegal, or maybe you were a secretary, right? But you were around the space. You can speak the language, right? And make sure that it's a large enough pool of people and that it's growing, ideally, but primarily it's just a large enough pool of people and that they can afford it, right? This is why, as much as I attract entrepreneurs, I don't really target them, because a lot of times entrepreneurs are like 98% of entrepreneurs, 99 probably, are struggling entrepreneurs. They're struggling to get on their feet, right? Especially nowadays, everybody wants to call themselves an entrepreneur. But the ones who have money, they reach out to me, absolutely. But you want to get people who are stable, who can actually afford your service. You don't want people penny pinching and trying to squeeze themselves financially to afford what you do. No, this is not that, right? This is not greed. This is a holistic wellness. This is a wellness offering. It's a wellness service. Wellness. You want your clients to be well before they met you, but most importantly, after they meet you, right? So all those things, make sure you consider them, okay? Anyway, I'm gonna go enjoy this pizza before it gets cold and see what time the Super Bowl's on. But anyway, questions, thoughts, leave them in the comments. Let me know what else you guys want to see. I got a laundry list of stuff I'm gonna cover for you. Trust me, if you watch all my videos and you apply what I'm saying and doing, you will be fine in the next 12 months if you actually are aggressive about implementing it. And I'm posting the live calls and live sales calls and stuff like that, so you guys can actually see that I do what I say I do, right? I'm not the dude on YouTube who, sells courses. I don't even have a course out yet, but I'm not the dude who sells courses and makes money just off the courses. You guys have seen me make, last month I made like 32 grand. I say all that to say, this is a great business, guys, and you're doing really great work in this space by providing transformation to people. So I highly encourage you to hop on this train, and I'm here to help you. All right, appreciate you tuning in. Thumbs up, like, thumbs up, so we can boost these videos in the algorithm and get this help to the people who need it. See you guys in the next video. I'm out. Peace.